Hey there, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to dive into building a simple API using Node.js and Express. So let's get started. Alright, so here we are in our code editor. Let's start by setting up our project. We will need to create a new folder named Building REST API. You can name it anything you want and initialize it as a Node.js project by running the command npm init in the terminal. You can open the terminal by clicking on terminal here and then new terminal, or you can also click on Ctrl plus backtick sign on your keyboard and it will open a new terminal for you. And now in terminal, let's run the command npm init. npm init will generate our package.json file, and also we are using -y here, -y flag. It will not ask any question and it will directly generate our package.json file. Now, as you will see here, our package.json file has been generated, which will hold our dependencies like Express and Nodemon. Once that's done, we will now install Express and Nodemon by running the command in terminal npm install Express Nodemon. Keep an eye on here. Now in package.json file, you will see a dependency section which will have Express and Nodemon, as you can see here, right? Nodemon is a tool for Node.js that automatically restarts the server whenever changes are made to the code base. Then in script section, let's remove the script and add another script which will say start, and it will start our Nodemon server. Okay, Nodemon, and then our file name index.js. And let's save this. Great, now that we have Express and Nodemon installed, let's go ahead and create our main server file. We will call it as index.js for this example. Alright, now let's import Express and create an instance of our app. We can do it like this. Const express equal to require express and then const app equal to express. This const express equal to require express is importing our express module, and const app equal to express, this is creating our express app. Now let's define our port on which our server will run. We can do it like this. Const port equal to process.env.port or 3000. Why we are using process.env.port is because whenever we deploy a project on platforms such as Heroku, it may be possible that port 3000 is not available. So in that case, we have to take any port which is available. So we are using process.env.port. Okay, and this port should always be in capital letters, or otherwise it won't work. Now let's start our server. We can do it with the help of this app.listen. It will listen to a port whichever is made available, and it will take a callback function as a second argument, which will console log server is running on port and then whichever port is made available. And let's save our file. And now in terminal, let's type the command npm start. We will start our script which is coming from package.json file which we added just a while ago. And you will see a message logged in which will say server is running on port 3000. Alright, next let's define our routes. We will start with the get route which will retrieve data from our API. As you can see here, we are using app.get method to define a route. We specify the route URL and then a callback function which will have two parameters such as request and response, which will be executed when the route is called. Inside the callback function, we will send back a response to the client. Say a simple hello world, you asked for homepage. And now to check this, let's go to the browser and type localhost 3000, and you will see a message which will say hello world, you asked for home page, right? Awesome, our get method is finally working. You can also do something like this. Let's just copy this here and paste it down here. Instead of going to slash, we will go to slash user, And when we go to user, let's just log a message, hello world, you asked for user page. Let's save this, and again let's go to the browser. In here, let's type /user, and you will see the message which say hello world, you asked for a user page. This is really very awesome, right? Just a few lines of code and your server is working. Now let's move on to the post route, which will allow us to add new data to our API. To define a post route, we use the app.post method just like we did with the get route. We specify the root URL, which will be /user and a particular ID. And then second, a callback function which will have request and response as its two parameter. Inside this callback function, we access the data that's sent in the request body using request.body or request.params. For this example, let's send back a response indicating hello user with the particular name and ID is created. We use post route whenever clients submit a form. This post route is executed. Okay, so to check this, let's use Postman. You can use any tool of your choice like Insomnia or Postman. So now let's save a file and test this on Postman. Postman is an API development tool which helps to build, test and modify APIs. So now in Postman, let's test first our GET request. So we can type here like local host and then 3000, and then we used / right, and then when we hit enter or when you click on send here, you can see here that hello world, you asked for home page. Or when you write here user, which was also a get method, and when you hit send, you will see hello world, you asked for user page. Now let's check post. Let's click on post here, and then we had an URL /user/ID. Remember, an ID will be any number, so let's just say 7. And now as you will see here that we have got 500 internal server error, which is really very bad. Why this is happening is because we don't have a middleware which is body parser, which will parse our JSON data. So you see here we also got a big line error. Okay, so how to remove this is by adding a middleware. This is a middleware body parser which will execute on specific function and help us to parse JSON data. Let's save this file and let's go to our Postman, and then in the body section let's go to raw, and then here let's add some data, right? Like we used name there, so name, don't forget to use double quotes, and then we are using few. Okay, we don't need ID because the ID will come from here, and let's hit send, and right, you see hello user with name, few and ID 7 created. Congratulations, you finally learned about post route. Lastly, let's implement the delete route, which will allow us to remove data from our API. So in routes, let's go here and then add our delete route. To define a delete route, we use app.delete method. Again, we specify the route URL and then callback function. Inside the callback function, we are responding that delete user with ID. Inside the callback function, we can access any parameters or query strings that are sent with the request.param.id or request.query. For now, let's just send back a response indicating that the user is deleted. Okay, let's save this file and let's again go to our Postman, and then here let's choose delete, and we have a specific URL which will user and then particular ID. Let's just say 7, and when we hit send, you will see the message that will say deleted user with the ID 7. And that's it. We have successfully created a simple API with get, post and delete routes using Node.js and Express. You can even use put and patch methods. Okay. Of course, this is just a basic example and you can expand and customize your API to suit your specific needs. I hope you found this tutorial helpful and easy to follow. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in comments below. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye and have a good day.